Welcome everyone. Time again to see if there is more out there for you to learn. So let's have a look at today's offering. We will be looking at speed of thought today. Speed of thought is a part of practical mind training as we progress along the thinking to help strengthen thinking. The speed of thought of people is a large contributing factor to a more tougher mind than a stronger mind. Due to the influence thinking that people think with, that is set and does not require much thought other than what to use and when to use it. People's thought process becomes more computer-like, where you have this situation and you insert this thinking, and as such, there is no real time for thought. Something happens, and before you have really thought about it, thinking has been inserted, and you have already done or said something, often leaving you thinking, why did I just do that? Or why did I just say that? Now, other things you might notice that indicate how fast your thinking is going are like mixing your words up as you speak. As your thinking is so fast, you are thinking the next words to speak before you finish speaking the ones you are on, and you start speaking over the top of what you are saying. Or you are writing or texting something and you reread it and there are missing words everywhere, where you thought too fast and have thought too far ahead of what you were writing and skipped words as you began writing down newer words. Or you were doing something but cannot quite remember what you were doing or supposed to be doing with it, and you cannot remember what you were doing before that led you to be doing what you were doing. So you started on one task and you were thinking on the next task, and you ended up heading to that task, then thought, hang on, what am I doing here? I cannot do this job until I do this job first. So you go back to that first job and realize you were just doing that job. So your thinking sped up so fast, it slipped into the thinking of the next job, and you went to the next job as you thought to do it, without fully thinking that is the next job once this job is finished, and you skipped ahead to it. Or you may notice you tire out quite quickly, either mentally or physically or both. You may feel tense, you may feel sore, you may feel aches and pains, a headache, unusual sweating, trouble sleeping, and trouble eating. You may also feel that it is not quite a real tired, that it is not quite a real tension or ache or pain, that there is something odd about it. This is your thinking sped up and affecting your brain and body. It is most notable when you are stressed. You really notice how the speed of your thoughts speeds up your brain and body and overloads simple tasks with excess brain and body tension from the speed of your thoughts racing along. Now, the big problem with the speed of your thoughts and your brain and body is you no longer really notice the speed of your thoughts in everyday, daily life, because you have just become so used to the speed, it does not feel like it is fast. You just tend to get used to the signs mentioned above happening, and you just accept them as something that happens. As you slow your thinking down, you will realize just how fast your thinking has been going and just how you have gotten used to the speed of your thinking that you no longer really realize just how fast it is and just how much of a problem it poses to you thinking clearly. Where your thoughts slip into new thoughts if you briefly even think about them. Where there is no time for any reasonable thinking to put all those thoughts in order. Those thoughts just end up tending to happen, and it ends up being whether you catch yourself in time or you think, hang on, where am I? What am I doing? While in the middle of the next thought, after the thought you were supposed to be doing. Speed of thought is also responsible for the times you find you caught in thought, where you get stuck in yes and no thoughts about a thought, where all these yes and no thoughts crash over the thought you are thinking to do and leave you stuck in the middle of deciding what to think about the thought, with all these yes and no thoughts speeding around, trying to make themselves thought, leaving no real gaps for you to think clearly on the decision you want to make on that thought, often leaving you ending up making a frustrated decision about the thought you were thinking to do, and later thinking with a clearer mind how it was not really the decision you should have made. So speed of thought becomes critical in your ability to think clearly with what you are doing.